Hello everybody and welcome to Fab Space Program, where I, as the name would suggest, play the game Kerbal Space Program. Oh, that's a bit confusing, isn't it? But I thought I'd have my own name. And since I'm called Fab, and Fab Space Program sounds like it's an amazing space program, so I thought, why not? It will be a somewhat not as amazing space program as you might think, because I suck at games, and basically the situation you have here is somebody who struggles with rudimentary math, yeah, that's me, trying to mount a space program. And which is what I will do in this series. So don't come here and expect any good tips on how to play the game. The only thing you might get is how not to play the game, although that by itself can be helpful. But yes, I'm playing Kerbal Space Program, which is well, it's not that new anymore. As you can see there in the bottom, it started in 2011. It's a game that is currently, I think it's an alpha. It's kind of a Minecraft model. You can pay for it now. You get it for a reduced price, and then you get like the updates, lifetime updates, I guess. So that's what I did. It is now on Steam, in Steam's new early access thingy, where you can test out, alpha and beta games and give them a little bit of money for it. So it's part of that. So you can buy it on, you can buy it there. In this game, what you basically do is you're running a space program, basically like NASA, or like whatever the Russian equivalent is, or like ESA in Europe or whatever. And you're running a space program for these little guys called, I think they're called Kerbals, actually. Yeah, the little, like half a meter little people with weird heads that live on the planet of Kerbin, which is the planet you can see in the background there. And you basically helping them to get to space. What do they want in space? I have no idea. What did we want in space? I'm guessing it's for science. Well, and this is what we will do in this show. Just don't expect any miracles, because as I said, I'm shit. Basically, you have a guy who struggles with math, trying to do a space program, which I think is going to spell disaster, because usually in space, you do space missions, you need to they calculate shit. I mean, they have computers and they use like whatever calculators and trajectories and all that kind of shit. So this will go horribly wrong, which I guess hopefully will be entertaining. So let's get started here. Let's start a game. And this is currently you can do training. I don't think there are any scenarios currently. As I said, it's early alpha. They're working on it. So let's start a new game. And as you can see, you can only do sandbox, no career mode, which is fine with me because I love sandbox games. So a little bit like Minecraft, which I like. So let's call this Fab Space Program, since that is the name of the program. And let's get going here. So first off, you see like your base of operations. Basically, you have kind of like NASA. You have the vehicle assembly building, which is where you build your rockets. You have a spaceplane hangar where you build space planes, but we won't be doing that for a while because getting rockets to fly is hard enough, as far as I can tell. So space planes are out for a bit. So that would be like space shuttle. You can land again, whatever NASA's building right now, the X-38 or whatever it is. You have a launch pad where your rockets take off, and of course a tracking station that let's go there first. That shows you the planet of Kerbin, and the planet of Kerbin looks a bit like Earth, smaller, I think. Has a that's Ike. That's another planet actually. That is Lathe. The planet of Kerbin has a moon, which is called Moon. It usually has an umlaut. I think they call it Moon, but since I'm from Germany, we'd pronounce it Moon, the Moon. And it also has another moon. It's called Minimus, which is that it? Yeah, that's Minimus. So Minimus is tiny and like all the way out there. And that's the whole kind of solar system. This is the sun, which I guess is called Kerbal. You've got all these. It's kind of like our solar system, It's kind of modeled after that, except the Earth does not have a second moon, which is kind of cool. It's Eve. Eve is Venus, I guess. Moho, that would be Moho. Mercury, I guess. I don't, The other thing you gotta realize is I'm really interested in space and stuff, and I used to read a lot of books, but that was like when I was 12. And I read all about like the American moon program and the Russian moon program and Mir and the ISS is all terribly exciting. But when I grew up, at some point I got in science fiction, and then I got stuck in science fiction because it's just so much more exciting than the actual stuff we have been doing, which is, hard work. I mean, as we will see, it's hard work getting out of orbit. Yeah, so I've got no idea what these things are called, so don't, I mean, you can complain in the YouTube comments, but I basically don't give a fuck. Let's go to the vehicle assembly building, and this is where you build your rocket. And the first thing we will do is we'll do it like the humans did when we went to space. I think that's a good way to do things. So the first thing we will do is we will try to put a little tiny unmanned satellite into orbit, which we did. Well, the Russians did. It was called Sputnik. It's a little beep thing. First man-made thing we ever got into orbit. And so here, very conveniently, yeah, they've got all these cockpits and shit, but very conveniently, they have this Sputnik Mark II. I guess Mark I wasn't so much a success. So let's use that as our command module, and then let's move that up a bit because we need space. We're building a rocket. Yes, and Sputnik actually it was actually Sputnik 1, I think, officially, because I guess they thought Sputnik 2 was the dog, Layla, and I thought maybe it's gonna break, so we name everything 1 because the first time it's very likely to crash and burn. Let's call this satellite, and I hope I can spell satellite correctly, satellite 1, because I think Sputnik meant satellite, if I'm correct there. And you can actually save that. It's not much to save now, but okay, so that will be our core, our satellite core. This is the command module. You can move things. You can install things everywhere on that thing. But if you use the angle snap, it'll just, I think, do 45. You attach things in like 45-degree angle, which is handy, and you can do symmetry, so you can add 2 things symmetrically, 3, 4, and so forth, which is handy because on a rocket you want to distribute your weight evenly and your thrusters, because otherwise if you're off, you start spinning, it all goes to hell. It's all very scientific. Speaking of scientific, the first thing we're going to do is this has absolutely no function whatsoever, but Sputnik was this like little thing with antennas on it, so we're gonna stick some antennas on here to talk back. That's actually pretty much what Sputnik looked like, was just a ball with antennas, just a radio transmitter. And yeah, that is kind of handy. The other thing we will need is batteries. They will eventually run out of power because we're not going to bother with solar cells or radioactive stuff. Sputnik was the same thing. Sputnik actually wasn't long in orbit, just a few days, and then it burned up. So we're just gonna let's take like 6 batteries and a bit like energizes, and it's like just stick them on there to give a bit of power. And this is actually the thing that we will detach and put into orbit. This is the part that will be in orbit, hopefully, if everything works out. So the next thing we need to do is you have these separator thingies, which you can blow up. This is how you do, as you can see down here, this is how you can do your stages for your rockets. So you blow these things up, and then you detach the stages you with the fuel that you burn out. So speaking of fuel, before we do any of the main propulsion, we will attach something called the RCS. First of all, we need, that's terribly big. No, let's do something else actually to get that on there, because they are all bigger than the diameter we are here. There is some, what is that? There's some really cool thing. Yeah, you can just attach a little attachment thingamabob. And now we're actually on the diameter that I want it to be. Let's zoom out a bit here. So what we want to do is we want to attach something called the RCS. First of all, we need fuel for that thing. So this is the fuel tank for the RCS. And then we will attach the RCS. Let's go to 4 here. The RCS is the, I have no idea what that's, reaction control system, I think. This is basically their little boosters, little rockets that will help us maneuver in space. They're basically the little thrusters, you know, that you maneuver around with. They actually had them on the ships in Battlestar Galactica and, of course, in Babylon 5, which was really cool. So you have these things in rocket, and the round thing is the fuel tank. Speaking of fuel, this stage is that this is the thing that will shoot in orbit the whole thing, and then we'll detach the satellite. So what we need is a little bit of fuel, fuel tank, and then a small engine. And what we have now is the thing that will actually detach from our main stage that gets us in orbit, right? And then we'll detach the satellite up the top. But to detach this stage from the next thing, we need another one of these decoupler separator things. And as you can see, it's put like a coating on top of that, which is cool. That's the thing that'll float. That'll just get blown away, like on a real rocket. Then we can use a handy adapter because we want to get very much wider now. Because now we want to start building the stuff that actually gets all the stuff on top pretty much into orbit. And I've been actually playing around before I start this series a little bit so that I'm not completely looking like an idiot. So we want a huge tank like that. Now, we could attach an engine to the bottom, but apparently, for some reason, they run hot. Like, I wanna use the very powerful, the mainsail, which is the most powerful engine. Because in sandbox mode, there's nothing implemented yet where you like pay for stuff, so you can just use whatever you want. And I just want to use that thing because it's awesome, it's big. But that will overheat if it's attached right to the tank. For some reason, I've got no fucking idea why. But if we just take another tank, there's a little bit more fuel. And that will dissipate most of the heat. And then we'll put the engine on there. And I actually judged the height of that thing. Well, so you could actually put that on the launch pad like that, but that would wobble like hell. So, while our rocket is actually all done now, I mean, this can actually take off and go into orbit and whatnot. While that's all done, we want to actually have, because they used to have a crane in this, apparently. That was just decoration on the launch pad, which they took out, a launch tower. And now we actually have these things. And I'll want to take 4 because that's gonna make it look like the bloody like the Russian thing. On the Russian thing, actually, the arms like fold away. It looks amazing. It looks like this kind of opening flower. But we'll just detach it differently on this, and that's actually it. That should get our little satellite into orbit if everything goes according to plan. Which it probably won't because I'm shit at this. So let's save this rocket, our satellite 1 mission. Oh yeah, one thing we need to do is we need to put this is the stages. You need to put the engine on the same stage as the crane, so that the main engine will start at the same time when the crane things detach, and then you can just take off. And let's save that. We can leave the rest as it is. And I think this can actually go like that. So let's go to the launch pad. And then we're loading. Whoop. Sitting on the launch pad. We're out here. There's our building where we built that thing. And doesn't that look good? I think that actually looks good. So what we need to do is before we launch, we need to do 2 things. We need to throttle up, get the throttle up. We don't, it was bloody Windows telling me if I want to enable sticky keys. Fucking, this is why I usually don't use Windows. This game actually, oh, one thing I didn't tell you, this game actually runs on Windows, on the Mac, and in Linux. And I've got it running in Linux. I'm just recording on Windows because I haven't done that in ages, and I want to try out this setting, this setup actually, for other games I might be doing. But yeah, you can run this on Linux and it works well. Steam on Linux. Tried it out, works pretty well. Anyway, we want to throttle up, not all the way, but like, 80-90%. This is because if I push the spacebar, it's going to start the main engine only if it's throttle up. So you need to throttle up first, and it's going to start the main engine. It's going to blow those cranes away, and then we're off. The other thing we want to do is we want to enable what's called the SAS. This is built into our capsule. This is a system that, with a little bit of help from the main engine, will try to keep the rocket stable. I don't know how much it actually does, but in my tests it was relatively helpful with this design, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. And with that, we can actually launch. Down there you see the instrumentation. That's basically where you're pointing. G-force indicator, up, got throttle. Up top, there's how high we are. I guess we are 88 meters above sea level, where we're here. We can go to the map, which we'll go later. This is where we are currently, and this is where our launch pad is. And we'll need that to get into orbit, because getting into orbit is bloody tricky. It's pretty hard to do. Can do this, enabling this shows us our resources. So we got oxidizer liquid fuel is what burns up in the main engine, and then monoprops what's used in the RCS for maneuvering. Electric charge is what's in our batteries, and that will actually, it has power while the engine's burning, but once we're out of fuel, it'll just deplete the batteries on the satellite. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so with that, we are ready for our first liftoff. Let's hope it goes well. Everybody, stay tight. I'd say we'll just do this, shall we? So, T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff, and we're off. And with that, we're blasting off straight up into the atmosphere. Looking good so far. Looking really good. Going pretty straight, gotta say. It's pretty good. We want at about we're going up, and we'll see. We'll get like this orbital view thing going here. And at some point we want to angle our rocket a bit, so I think usually it's like drifting around, which is okay. Let's just ignore that. There's a bit of turbulence there. Yeah, let's get up to like close to 9,000, I think, is what I usually did. And then we can just angle a little bit to one direction, not too much. And then what we want to do actually is we want to get some kind of orbit going here. Right now it's really steep. So let's actually angle ourselves a bit more. This is all. This is. I hate this shit. I hate rockets. But that is actually looking better than usual. I think by drifting off a little bit. This is actually going really well. Well, kind of. We're drifting altogether. That yellow indicator. Oh, there our first stage just ran out of fuel. So what we are doing now, let's just see how we're doing. Yeah, it's kind of good. Let's disengage that stage and then fire the engine for our second stage. Throttle down a little bit. That yellow indicator is actually where we're basically facing, where our I think it's called the periapsis is, whatever. I don't. This is all like drifty. What the? I'm actually trying to. Oh, I was actually indicating it's going in the right direction, the wrong direction. Let's turn the engine off, because we nearly burned all of our fuel. Oh shit, I was not paying attention. So as you can see, that is not in orbit. Oh my god, I was going really well and now I'm like fucked. Righty. We want to get this line to be around the planet, so I don't have that much fuel left. So what you can do is you can actually plan a maneuver, and then you can like, I have no idea how this works, but you can like play with the fiddly things, and you just basically, what I do is I just fiddle with them. This is this is what you get when you book the Fab Space program, and then this is like the highest point, and that's the lowest point. No, that's the highest, that's the lowest. What we actually would like, if it was actually something like Sputnik, something we would want 100 by 100 kilometers, but I am not sure we're gonna get that. But I kind of like that, so let's shoot for that. And as you can see, we need to turn our eyes. We have a few seconds to orient ourselves. This is going to be quick. Sorry, I can't really talk that much. So I have 30 seconds to hit that blue target to kind of get... Oh, this is going to be fucking close. This mission looks like a disaster. Ah, okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm a leaf in the wind. This is awesome. Then he gets killed. Spoilers. Anyway, if you haven't seen Firefly, and then we need to power up. We need to power up. Well, we need to hit our maneuver. I'm not explaining what I'm doing here very well, but fucking Windows is annoying again. I need to turn that off. Anyway, we need to now do this maneuver for the prescribed time. We don't have enough fuel. That is shit. We're running out of fuel, so we're not going to get into the orbit as we want there. So that's all our fuel already. But what we can do, we can actually use, and I've done this before, we can use the RCS to give us thrust in the right direction. Which is actually, these are maneuvering thrusters, so they're not going very well. But we have a ton of that fuel. And we can actually make a difference here. Just stay. Oh, fuck. And then he hit the wrong button. This is how it goes. You know, you're sitting in your rocket. Actually, we're not sitting in the rocket. We're like in mission control. You hit the wrong button and everything goes to crap. Anyway, let's see what that actually has done to our orbit. Oh, we're crashing. This is not an orbit. I think we need to plan a new maneuver, but we can't really fucking do anything. Oh, fuck. Because we don't actually have power. This is horrible. I think what we need to do, we need to orient ourselves a little bit more in the direction we're flying, which is that direction. Ooh, God, this is not going well. It's not going well. Not going well at all. So basically, I'm just doing everything with RCS, which you shouldn't do. But that's the only thing we have left. I burned everything else because I didn't pay attention. My orbit went all to crap. And, oh, this is actually doing the... Well, I don't know. So what is that doing? Let's just keep doing that. Let's see. We're just basically increasing speed very slowly. And, yeah, I just want to get this thing in orbit. That was the plan. But if I can't do that, if this blue-green circle... Ooh, what the fuck is going on? That is not going to go around the planet, then we're like crashing and burning on re-entry. Actually, we need to be like at least 40 kilometers on the one side, because otherwise the thing will get caught in the atmosphere and crash. Anyway, so I don't think we can actually do that, but I won't give up. Because that's not the spirit of space for us. And it's going to take ages. I apologize for this, but that's just really horrible. Full throttle with the maneuvering thrusters. This is like when Star Trek, when they go, we're out of the warp drive is broken and the fucking other thing, what's it called? The oh god. What's the other thing? The warp drive and the bloody they used to call it soul thing in the old series. Bloody hell. Impulse, the impulse engines, they're broken as well. And then it's like, give me maneuvering thrusters, Mr. Kim. Oh, this is actually, this is working. This is working. Keep doing it. Quick. We can do it with maneuvering thrusters. Do, 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 do. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, God. You'll probably have turned off by now because that's horrible. Do, 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 do. We're really high up. I mean, we're like, this orbital experiment is kind of not as what it should be, but maybe we can, maybe we actually have enough RCS to achieve an orbit. We'll see. We're flying by the seat of our pants here because, yeah, that's actually moon up there. It's moon. Someday we will go to the moon. There'll be a small step for Kerbin or something like that. Running out of monoprop rapidly, Captain. We have problems. Okay, so we have an orbit. But, ooh, this is 33 kilometers. Let's just give her all she's got, Mr. Scott. She cannot take it anymore, Captain. Yeah, this is what you tune in for here. Bad Star Trek impressions from a German. Horrible. Anyway, that's nearly all the fuel. That is gonna work. I believe that is gonna put us over the atmosphere. I believe. Let's just I don't know. Let's just generally orientate us towards where we're going, because that's always a bit better. And then just give her all she's got, Mr. Scott. Here we go. And then that's that. We are out of fuel. And we can now separate. Separation. We have achieved separation. This thing is going to drift off very slowly, because the only speed we have gained on that stage now is just from that explosion from that ring we detached. And here we're going. As you can see, the batteries are slowly depleting. Our little Sputnik is going beep, 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 beep. And this is much higher than Sputnik ever was. This is like obscenely high. But what the hell? Let's delete that. We can't. No. It is an orbit. It's a shitty orbit, but I think it is an orbit. Now the problem is, at the periapsis, is 60 kilometers enough? I think it is. I think it barely is. I think the atmosphere starts at like 60. At the farthest point, we're 800 kilometers away, which is horrible. But, you know, that's the best we could do. This is where we're going. So I think... Oh, I need to turn the throttle off so I can do time warp, because you can actually turn on time warp. What I will do is I'll turn that on. First of all, I'm gonna get another drink, because this bloody putting things into space stuff is horribly exhausting, and a good wine helps with that. Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna time warp and let us traverse the planet once. We're only 11 minutes in space currently. Up there, mission elapsed time, and let's see if that actually if we can actually make it, because this is the far away part where we're like really far away from the planet. Now the interesting bit is gonna be on the other way around. Are we going to horribly burn when we hit that? And I have no idea. So let's just see. Ooh, the night side of Cohen. And that is close. That is close. Oh shit. Oh yeah, we're hitting the atmosphere. This is why it's now slowed our time warp down, because we have just hit the outer atmosphere, which is not good. But we are still in orbit. It's just slowing. Actually, it's not slowing us down. It's just stopped the time warp because we are theoretically in the atmosphere. What is that? Oh, that's our debris. So, I don't know. It's also turned us around, so there must have been some air there. But we haven't. Still got battery. Still sending a signal. And we haven't crashed. So let's see how far we can speed that up again. That actually is good. An hour in space nearly. It's very interesting. That other stage is just staying there. It's like not going away. I wonder if this is gonna... See, that is... We are slowing down. It is slowly coming in. So I'm guessing, since we hit the atmosphere there, on every revolution we're gonna hit the atmosphere again. Okay. I think I figured it out. Let's just... I don't want to target anything. Okay, it's normal timing. So what is gonna happen? On every revolution, because our orbit is so shit, on every resolution around when we revolution, on every revolution, when we hit the periapsis, terrible word, who came up with that? When we hit that, we're going to hit the atmosphere, and it's going to slow us down. See, currently, we're out of the atmosphere, and we're just traveling. We could actually warp up again. We're just traveling. Let's just do that. We're traveling at speed. You know, nothing's going to happen. The speed's going to stay the same. We're just going to go, woo! But at that point, we're going to hit the atmosphere, which is going to slow us down. And that's going to bring this in every time, I think. Yeah, this is gonna just decrease that orbit on every revolution. This is actually the closest point again. We're not glowing, so we really haven't hit the atmosphere completely. As you can see, we're just in the outer reaches, but there's enough air there that every time we hit that, it's gonna slow us down a bit. So at some point, just like the real Sputnik, will fall out of the sky. But I think, for the fact that, you know, I was in the crucial moment, I mean, the lesson to take away here is that don't get distracted in the crucial moment. I got distracted, our orbit went all to hell, and then through frantic use of the RCS system, I actually managed to rescue it, and we got into a somewhat of an orbit. Yeah, and I think that's that. I think that is a, you know, it's a successful, pretty successful first ever space mission, I would say. As the leader of the Fab Space program, I pronounce this a not a resounding. Let's call it a success. Put something in orbit. It's got a little bit of battery. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna stay up there a bit. It's gonna just send out radio signals, and at some point, it's gonna plummet to the Earth. So yeah, I think we should with that go back to the Space Center. We can now in the mission control thing, we can see that we have a satellite in orbit and lots of crap floating around. Well, on Launchpad, that will be removed for the next flight, I'm guessing. But you know, that's something. And I think when we come back, I think this is way long enough for a first episode. I think the next time I'm gonna try to put a second satellite in orbit. Maybe something with solar panels. Maybe a solar panels. Well, that would be interesting. Be underwater. Wouldn't be much use in space. Anyway, some solar panels, and we're gonna put that in orbit, and hopefully a somewhat more successful orbit. Not like that, which looks weird. That is suboptimal orbit. Anyway, with that, I think I'm signing off. Until next time, see you all. It was a small step for me, but a somewhat bigger step for our first satellite. Or something. See you soon.